Here are Ian Chappell's thoughts on the fourth day at Sydney. Ian, it's very nearly over now. England should wrap this up early tomorrow.
Yes, it's a truism of the game of cricket that the team that's in the ascendancy makes things look easy, and when England were batting, it looked as though the pitch was an absolute belter and batting was a very simple thing to do. Then when Australia came out, they were really challenged by the English bowlers. The English bowlers seemed to make things happen where the Australian bowlers couldn't. And once again, we saw that the team that's in the ascendancy just looked miles better than the opposition, and that's the way it's been. I mean, as the series goes on, the gap between England and Australia is just getting wider and wider.
It could be this is going to be the third innings defeat on home soil for Australia by England. I mean, that's has the gap been this wide in your lifetime?
Probably not. No, 86, 87. It was, the gap was a lot closer than that, and so I can't think of. I think you got to go back to to body line, and then I think 28-9 when Chapman's side was pretty dominant. I think you've got to go back then to find a time when England was so dominant on Australian soil.
One of the key things, for me at least, has been the catches behind the wicket. I mean, Matt Pryor, I believe, has got 21 catches to Brad Haddin's 8, which seems to be a real indication of how much England are finding the edge. Yeah,
I don't think that's an indication of the difference in wicket-keeping, it's the difference in bowling. The England bowlers have been unbelievably disciplined. That's an area where it's like chalk and cheese from the England sides we've seen out here previously. The discipline and the ability to maintain line and length. But in this innings in particular, the thing that's really stood out is their ability to get the ball to swing, where the Australians just couldn't get it to swing at all. And then I think the other thing you've got to throw into the mix is Graham Swann's ability to he doesn't just tie down an end by bowling darts. It's a really probing spell. He was a bit unlucky, he had Haddin dropped, he beat the bat a bit. He bowled very well. The wickets weren't coming for him, but I'm sure that he was contributing to getting wickets down the other end. So it really just has been a team performance by England. They really have been very impressive.
Talking of Haddin, he started out as one of the stars of Australia's early part of the campaign. He's faded, fallen for 30 today, while Matt Pryor, on the other hand, has really come good with the bat lately.
Well, it's true that England are just wearing Australia down. And if the series went on, you'd probably find, you're finding Hussey, his performance is starting to go downhill. As you mentioned, Haddin, and it's just the side that gets in the ascendancy. Not only are they in the ascendancy with their skills, but eventually, once it becomes a mental thing, then it's like being on a slippery dip. Then it goes really quickly, and I'm afraid it's got to that point now where Australia are on the slippery dip, and I think somebody's greased the slippery dip as well. It's looking very, very dire for Australia.
James Anderson, there were doubts about his old ball bowling, but today he bowled a magnificent spell of reverse swing. He's really showed he's got all the skills.
Well, that was for people in Australia. That was the big question that Jimmy Anderson had to answer when he was in this country. Could he take wickets when the ball wasn't swinging? And he's answered that question a number of times over. He's been brilliant. Bresnan's been a revelation. There were a couple of people saying before the Test match in Sydney, I think they've made a mistake, England, in not picking Finn instead of Bresnan. But boy, Bresnan, since he's come into the team, he's done absolutely everything, and he may have even surprised England with the way he's gone. He's bowled beautifully. Tremlett, we just keep talking about the depth in the England bowling attack, and that's the thing. If you're gonna win cricket matches, it's got to be an attack. There's got to be a really good attack there. And England now have got a terrific attack, and they've got a good all-round attack. They, any conditions, doesn't matter what the conditions are, they can use them.
There's a fascinating tussle going on in Cape Town at the moment between India and South Africa. Obviously, Dale Steyn and Zahir Khan in particular right up there. Where do you think the England's attack ranks alongside the other top teams of those three at the moment?
I think England have got the best all-round attack. South Africa have got Steyn and Morkel, but then it falls away pretty quickly. Harris to me is just purely a defensive spin bowler, Sotsobi, I think he's improving a bit, but I don't think if you include all the extras with England, they've got probably 5 or 6, and no team has got a spin bowler of the calibre of Graham Swan. India, they've got Zahir Khan, who I think is a class bowler. Srisanth is he's mercurial at times, and then he's mad at other times. And Harbhajan, he's taken some wickets in South Africa, but maybe he's on the up again, but I think for a long time he was on. He really had regressed as a bowler. So I don't see either of those two teams, South Africa or India, having an attack that's anywhere near the standard of England's.